As you see it in the title, there's something that you should never allow an eBay rep to do on your behalf. And I'm going to talk to you about that on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin Ain't Easy. And as I mentioned on the other side, there's this one thing that you should never allow an eBay rep to do on your behalf. They just don't understand that sometimes it can have a detrimental effect on your account. And I'm going to talk to you about that here, but it pertains to one thing, and that is defects, okay? And we're going to talk about defects here as well, what it means to you, what it means to your account, what it can mean to your seller status, and ultimately it all affects your sales in the long run. A defect is really caused by one or two things. It's caused by canceling an order due to being out of stock, which is sort of obvious, right? And then the other way to get a defect is to have eBay step in on your behalf to resolve a problem that they expect you to resolve. Could be a return request that you allow to time out because they only give you so much time to handle a return request. Could be a situation where maybe you're running into a technical difficulty and eBay is going to have to step in on your behalf to refund the item, like what happened to me. But honestly, it kind of segues into this. Anything that can get you a defect, it can hurt your account, okay? And while in most cases you need multiple defects for it to really affect your seller status, I'm in the category. There's others that feel this way, that when you get a defect, it's almost the same as getting multiple negatives. May not seem like a big deal, but it does affect you somewhere in the algorithm. Defects are a big deal in the sense that, you know, you may not have the amount required to affect your seller status, but it can affect you negatively with your account as it pertains to your sales in best match search results. And I'm a firm believer, there's quite a few out there like me that feel this way, that negative things that happen to your account, like receiving a defect, can negatively impact your search. And even if it's a small impact in that search, any impact, especially when you already have slow sales, is too much of an impact. So when you speak to a rep on the phone at eBay, be very leery about them opening a case for you to resolve a problem, and be very leery about it. Because number one, if eBay opens a case and the case is found on the buyer's behalf, it could potentially lead to a defect on your account. If the buyer opens up a case, let's say you didn't return their money in a timely manner, maybe something's wrong, it could lead to a defect if the case is found in the buyer's favor. But really, for the most part, a lot of people get defects because they get that return request, you know, in the back of their mind. They don't accept returns. They just let it time out, and eBay has to step in to allow that buyer to return the item. And of course, what they end up doing is they give them their money back and they allow them to keep the item. And then the seller's up in arms about, I don't accept returns. How come they took my money? Never ignore your summary page. So on eBay Seller Hub, always check your summary. And if there's a return request, if there's something, a case opened, don't ignore it. Follow through with it. Find out what you need to do as a seller before it times out. Because if it times out, you're going to get a defect. I had to refund a buyer, receive their item back, but eBay wouldn't allow me to refund it because at that particular moment, I didn't have enough money in my account. I just had money sent to my checking account for my available balance. And so I called eBay, and they wanted to step in and refund this against my checking account on file on my behalf. And I had a problem with that. So they extended the time, because had I allowed them to refund the money on my behalf, it would have been a defect on my account, and I would have had to dispute that, and it would have taken up to 48 to 72 hours for them to maybe take off the defect. Having those defects can affect your search rankings, at least your best match search rankings, certainly not the low price search rankings, but any kind of detrimental effect on my account, I'm trying to avoid, and so should you. So let's say you get a defect. Is it the end of the world? No, a single defect's not the end of the world. Let me just kind of put it out there like that. But get one, the second one could always be right around the corner. And you want to know exactly what these defects can do because, see, here's the thing. eBay has these rules in place to penalize the seller. So if you receive a defect, it's going to hurt you. eBay doesn't have any kind of rewards program to reward good behavior. They're constantly looking for ways to penalize you when you do something wrong or maybe you make a mistake. They're right there to jump on you. And I get it. They're trying to weed out the bad sellers from the good and get the bad sellers off the platform or penalize them in such a way they don't want to sell on eBay anymore. But you don't want to be that guy, that gal. You want to be that seller that follows the rules. It's eBay's playground. We talked about that on the last video. And if you're in the playground, you got to follow the rules, no matter how much you disagree with them, no matter how much you want to enforce your no return policy. eBay's rules override your business policies. Just don't be that seller. So what if you get more than one defect? Well, eBay looks at the number of defects that you receive as it pertains to or compared to the number of transactions that you made over that period of time. And for sellers that have, I believe, under 400 transactions, eBay looks at you in a smaller window, like a 1 quarter or 3 month window. Sellers who have more than 400 transactions, eBay handles on a year-over-year basis to determine your ratios. So the maximum percentage of transactions with defects, 2% for all sellers. Top rated is 0.5%. That boils down to out of 100 sales or transactions, you're allowed to have 2 defects, okay? And that second defect will put you at 2%. Anything more than that will get you higher. If you're a top rated seller, 1 is too many out of 100, okay? Now, if you go down further, it says the maximum number of unique buyers affected before seller status is affected. All sellers 4, eBay top rated sellers 3. So that really whittles it down. So you can't really look at the percentage because you sell 1,000 items and you sell it to the same guy. And I guess you're disappointing the same guy. I don't know why they're coming back to do business with you, but it kind of doesn't make sense the way they lay this policy out. And again, that's your canceling a transaction because it's out of stock. Having eBay step in to assist you, let's say, or refund a transaction on your behalf. And those are things you should never allow them to do. And it definitely does hurt your account. So if you're currently an above standard seller, which is the level right underneath top rated seller, which is a majority of sellers are there, you don't want to fall any lower than that because your search results do depend a lot on the seller level that you're currently selling at. And if you're falling to below standard, you better have some good prices on your items and hope these buyers are searching by lowest price first and not best match, because it's going to be tough to get your items up in search. So if your seller level is below standard, starting March 1st of this year, we'll increase the additional final value fees from 5% to 6% for below standard sellers. This means that in addition to what a top rated seller would pay, what an above standard seller would pay for their final value fees, you are going to be paying an additional 6% final value fees above and beyond your promoted listing fees, all the selling fees that you have to pay based on the category you're selling in. And that's going to make it even more difficult to compete because you're not only being stifled in search, but you're paying more for the privilege. And it says your seller level can fall to below standard if your transaction defect rate is above 2%, or if your percentage of cases closed without seller resolution is above 0.3%. Buyers can't see that your seller level is below standard. However, since it means that you're not meeting one or more of the minimum standards for sellers on eBay, we'll review your overall account history and may place limits or restrictions on your account. So you don't want to be in a situation where you're suspended for a few days, you're restricted from listing new items, that type of thing. The consequences of falling below standard can include your items may be placed lower in search results. That's the best match search that we talked about. We may limit or restrict you from selling on your account and related accounts or from registering a new account. Funds from your sales may be held. You'll be charged a higher percentage rate for final value fees. You'll be blocked from using the promoted listings tool and will not be able to create new campaigns or edit existing campaigns. We may downgrade your eBay store to the basic level if you've been below standard for more than 60 days. And you'll be unable to access the partial refund tool, that tool that you can use if the buyer sends back a broken item. Maybe they send back part of the item, maybe don't send back the accessories, don't send back the original packaging, where we would be able to go in and deduct X amount of dollars from their refund. You won't be able to access that anymore. That's the refund tool. So guys, the best way to avoid this is simply this. Stay on top of your account. And I'm talking check your account at least one time a day, if not multiple times a day, and check your summary page, which is in the Seller Hub. Under Summary, click the Summary tab, and make sure you're just adhering to whatever eBay is asking you to do. You have 6 items to ship those out on time. If you have 2 return requests, reply to the return requests. Don't let those return requests time out. Handling these cases by the date that you're given to handle them by. So many sellers out there, I read these forums where sellers are wondering why they received a return request and that was days ago, and just now they're trying to get help with it, but they found that eBay has now stepped in on their behalf and refunded the buyer. That's a defect. You know, same thing, you receive the return from the buyer after sending them the label. eBay gives you like 3 days to take care of dealing with that return, processing the refund. And if you don't process that refund by that date, that buyer can step in, open a case against you. eBay will do that on your behalf. And all these things will collectively catch up to you. So play eBay's game if you want to stay on the platform in good status. I know some of you just don't like it. Sometimes I don't like it. But like I said in the last video, this is eBay's sandbox, eBay's rules, and you choose to stay to make that money, and you have to play by their rules. So guys, what do you think? I want your comments down below. Let me know what you think. You probably already knew a lot of this stuff. It's probably obvious stuff. Don't let those reps open cases on your behalf too. If there's something you can do, maybe ask for more time, handle it yourself through the ebay.com website. You need to do that first before asking eBay to step in. And even then, if they have to step in to do something on your behalf, make sure that it's not going to result in a defect on your account. And if you need to, follow up to make sure those defects are removed. So guys, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when I make my next video or go live. So guys, seller defects, they suck, but they're just another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great rest of your week, and we will talk to you very soon.